Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. What can only be described as a screen of colours. Let's get rid of that for you. And welcome, everyone, to what can only be described as Vintage Supercars. My name is Evil Dragon X. I'm back again in the commentary box. Second time I've done this in about 3 weeks. Getting used to commentating on this game now, so hopefully, and I've got a drink next to me so my voice don't go this time. 2 races expected ahead of us today, a feature and a sprint race is what I've been told. So expect a lot of intriguing opportunities, expect a lot of passes to be around a circuit. We're here in Catalonia, situated not too far away from the beautiful coast down here. It'll be very warm, nice breeze. However, I'm in a commentary box nowhere near Spain, so it's not very sea breezy, though I do have a sea breeze, so living in the sea anyway, so I suppose everything's well in the end. But let's get ready. We've got some racing. We've got 20, I think about 5-6 minutes of qualifying expected in just a few moments time. I believe they have started qualifying now, actually, so qualifying currently underway. It's the first driver on circuit, that is Special 51, and the DeWalt car, the Mazda, might I say, doing an okay job so far. Coming through the middle sector, he's got one car actually just slightly ahead of him at the current time. We can't exactly see who that is, unfortunately. But coming down towards the back of the circuit, you actually start qualifying right now. So never mind, we're coming through the chicane right now. It's beautiful. Often you'd see the old Formula 1 chicane they use nowadays. Most of the time they would use the old chicane. But of course in Formula 1 they use that chicane. I personally like the flat out section, but that's too dangerous apparently. And this is FIA, so we have to keep it all nice. Oh my god! There's been a shunt in the pit lane. Oh my god. Oh god, what has happened in the pit lane? Well, that's a start. We're on circuit though. I'm not quite sure what just happened there, and I'm wondering, is that an aborted start potentially? People saying pit glitch. So hopefully everything's fine, everyone gets out the pit lane in the background. It seems they have. But a bit of an issue there on the exit of the pit lane as one driver goes off the road. That is number 10. That will be of Hopper. And he's got a little bit wide. He's driving the Freighterline liveried Mazda so far, getting overtaken by Luke in the second position. Now, the man to watch today is Mr. Bottle himself. It's Mr. Lewis, Skoldo 1808, the man who currently told me he might get distracted by some kittens. And we've been told everyone to get off circuit. So it seems we're going to have a straight restart then already, so it's only been exactly 58 seconds. We've already got a restart then, so issues. However, we'll be getting back off circuit yet again then and getting ready to go for the second time. We've got 14 drivers, so someone's pulled out, I believe. As we just wait a few moments to see what is going on. So far we've got missing Ting, he's in the pit lane. Ross so far coming through the back of the circuit. Ryan saying I have came out. So it seems potentially everything's mended yet again. I'm not too sure what's going on, if we're getting a restart of the session or not, but 6 minutes to go here in qualifying nonetheless. And it seems that we're all jumping back in the pit lane then. And we're all having a restart there. So issues already here today. Dan Catalonia for number round 1 and 2. Remember, do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell if you're new here, as well as everyone now back in the pit lane and all slowly leaving the session. So in just a few moments time we'll get another session going, and then everything should be good. The chat there was saying get off the circuit, also we're just waiting for everyone to jump out. Never actually seen the pit lane glitch before, so it's interesting to note there's a glitch in the pit lane, but alas, you learn something new every day. Did anyone know the chat knew there was a pit lane glitch? Because I didn't. Well, we just saw it there, and they all drove into the pit walls. And you're not meant to do that normally, so one up for GT Sport there, working beautifully. But then again, latest game, it's 2017, so I let it off sometimes, a few minor glitches here and there. Just waiting for the last 7 drivers to go off circuit so we can restart the session. And hopefully they all can. Placenta Denta has rejoined the server as well, so we're going to have a full server indeed. Just waiting for the last 2-3 drivers to leave the session themselves. And whilst we're waiting here, let's get down into the comment section. If you have any comments, do put them down below and I will answer them as well. So we now just wait a few moments time, and middleman saying it's fairly common to do that, so didn't know that. Of course, I'm new to GT Sport for some reason, so there we go, and the qualifying has been officially cancelled, so I'll get back into there. Someone's apparently in the middle of Narnia on the mini-map, and there we go. Let's get back into the server then. Let's just wait a few seconds time then for qualifying to restart here today, back down in the Spanish countryside. Not too far away from Catalan. We're currently just on the west borders as well. Very picturesque, very beautiful, the mountains and all the scenery going past. The 1992 Olympic Games, if not too mistaken, took part here, and the circuit was built in 1991 to, of course, to build up for that. First race held, that was the Formula 1 race. Of course, we all remember that, most famously for two beautiful cars, one McLaren and one Williams going side by side of Nigel Mansell and Ayrton Senna. It's that wheel-to-wheel stuff, as James Hunt said it once upon a time. Senna went to spin in that race, and I believe Mansell ended up winning it, and I think Schumacher got on the podium, if I'm not too mistaken. Though, I can't exactly remember, I think that was a little bit before his time. Not too keyed up on F1 knowledge half the time, but I do know about that one at least. A beautiful circuit nonetheless. Never really changed too much in its course. Only real changes on the circuit. We're coming up to one of the major ones here. This right-hand king here. I can't exactly remember the corner name. It's Camper, if I'm not mistaken. They'll take the left there into what used to be a, of course, that quick right, used to be a chicane. Whatever changes on the circuit, well, there goes Flynn into the wall. And we'll talk to them as we get into qualifying as well. Scott saying they added a rubbish last sector. Some might agree with that. I do agree with that. It's horrible. However, it does close everyone up onto the straight, so I suppose, but oh dear, it's happened again. Oh god. Oh dear god. Oh no. And, well, oh dear. And surely I can only imagine we're getting a re-aborted start, or has everyone seemed to got themselves back in the session? It seems they haven't, so everyone's going back out on circuit, as someone has having some issues there joining and leaving, so hopefully everything okay there. We'll take on board that, then as we come up through the circuit, whilst we're getting ready for our lap. So, turn number 3, normally completely flat in an F1 car, not so much in these cars I imagine, sometimes a little left line. They can take a flat if they get the line quite well. Now, turn 4, an easy overtaking opportunity here, as long as you don't go off the road and spin into your teammate. That's absolutely crucial. If you spin into your teammate, you're gonna get an angry Toto on you. No one wants to do that. Down towards turn number 5, down your braking zone, of course. You make sure you don't lock up going straight on. Easy to go up the inside, even go around the outside. You've seen it before in GT racing as well. Into this tricky section here, this is turn 6 and 7. The uphill section here, often the easy to catch drivers out. You'll see people running wide in the race most likely. Careful, don't hit those curbs as well. They can easily drag you off into the fastest corner on the circuit, most likely Camper Corner. Blinking, you missed it. Rear end wants to step out, but they'll do it well. Of course, they're on their out laps. Down into the really back end of the circuit. This is where the most changes are. Back in the day, in the 90s, it'd gone straight there, and you're taking the little wider line. However, since recently, they changed that there as Riley goes for a little spin into the infield, and now it is a lawnmowing. It's a lawnmower. There goes the lawnmower. He's back on circuit in a few moments' time. The other changes on this circuit, of course, last sector. Well, the last corners, might we say. New chicane added in 2008 in an attempt to slow the cars down due to the fact they could not extend the barrier in the distance. Due to the fact, well, there is a lot of buildings on the other side of that. And a lot of trees, and re-extending the circuit, that is not really plausible. So we're going to be sticking with the chicane in real life. However, it'd be good if we had the other version on this game. But alas, we don't. So, let's see what they can do as we get onto the circuit right now and getting our first flying laps on the board. So far, missing Tink, who's missed on corner because he's got a 1 second time penalty. So we'll have a look down to the Red Bull then of Microarc. The Mazda lighting the timing screens up, I imagine, though. He'll be the first to cross the line that hasn't got a penalty, so he'll be the fastest for the time being. Behind him, the Mustangs and all the other Mazdas coming through as well. But the number 12, Thompson, then, doing an okay job, I reckon. The Red Bull car, after a beautiful livery, Red Bull liveries always are. And I've got to say, Red Bull worked well on the Mazda. Down the field, by the way, we have got the Hungarian, if I'm not too mistaken, there, driving the Castrol Max, the Pepsi Max car, if I'm not too mistaken there. Getting used to the liveries, of course. Learn ahead of the Irwin car. It's always reminds me of Steve Irwin, the late great car. And that, of course, driving by Mr. Ross Riley down in the Meraki livery, if I'm not too mistaken. He's in 6th position. Behind them, we've got Placenta Denta. He's driving the Monster Energy car. Often the more famous livery. Getting very popular, especially in the motorbikes industry as well. Calcutta used to run that livery. Beautiful livery to me indeed. The Scandia livery of Scott. Maybe I'll be doing some Scandinavian flicks in this race. Well, we all know if he bottles it, someone's going to be happy because I put some things on it. But, of course, we'll see what happens there. Well, waiting for Missing Tink. He'll be the first across the line. No mind, he's got a 7/10 penalty. As we're seeing M. Watt rejoin and leave session. He seems to not be able to get in there. But Missing Tink, 146. We should be going down to the 142s allegedly from Skold. He could set 142s. So we'll have a look where Skold comes across the line. He's coming through the back of the circuit right about now. So it's Placenta up first. There's Skold up into P1 then with a 144.0. Placenta second. Brooks so far in third. Stan Bingo in 4th. Down to 5th actually as there is Spess up to 1st position then. Bax on 6th position so far. Finn down in 7th. He's getting hunted and pushing wide one of the other cars. That's Luke banging tyres there into turn number 1, and that's getting a little bit unnecessary off the circuit there into the ball goes Flynn. He will not be too impressed with that one, I reckon. Riley down in 8th so far. Micah in 9th. Luke Missing Tink in 10th. Luke, like I was about to say, in 11th position ahead of Ross in 12th. Estas in 13th. Hopper down in 14th position so far as M. Watts continues to try and rejoin this session. However, I do not believe he should be able to get into the session due to his being a bit late. There's one car going rather drift. That looked like it was one of the Monster Energy cars, and indeed it spun in the background. I'm not too sure exactly what car that was. It might be. Let's have a little look if we can spot who it was on our timing screen. Incredibly difficult to see who everyone is on the timing screens, however, due to the fact we can't really see all the car numbers. In qualifying, we don't exactly know all the order, but Skold so far. Is he going to be on course for pole position today? Well, he said he could get 142s. Spets has got a 153. Let's see, can Skold get himself onto the 1st position on the grid? He is down. A different occasion today. He said he's feeling a lot more calm, a little more different than he usually does. Let's see what he can do. Through the chicane he comes. He's got one of the other cars ahead. That is of Bast, I believe. Basok in 6th position just ahead of him, giving a nice little toe down to the line. A little bit wide through the last corner, but Skold should be able to go pole position here. He doesn't. He only goes 76 thousandths off pole position, mind. Getting incredibly close indeed as Luke goes to 144. Estes to 145. Basok's down there in 7th position so far. Been bumped off there. I think that's by Luke, who's currently gone up to 6th position there then. Moving down the back of the field, we got Ross and Hopper. They're currently down in 13th and 14th position respectively. Some 5.2 seconds off the pace and 4.3 seconds off the pace. Mind they'll be trying to come back through in the race as well. Top position so far from the Mobile 1, Missing Tinklen of Usher. Doing an okay job so far. Only 12th position, not too far down where you expect he would be earlier on. And Motorman saying cars look great. Credit to Astley, of course. These liveries do look incredible in my eyes. As the walk delivery there of Spess coming up through behind Estas. Meanwhile, talking of the Devil. And the Devil is right ahead of them there. Austin then coming through mid-sector. Getting a nice toe there off of the number 9 car. He should be getting out of the way, I reckon. He 1/10th up so far. Purple fast 2nd sector. Getting a nice toe, of course. We'll be getting held up a little bit now, I reckon, because he's getting right up behind Estas. Estas on a flying lap as well. And these two rather holding each other quite up. And they're going to race down into the middle corner. And that's not going to probably best please Estas. But Austin comes straight through then. Easy pickings there. Careful doesn't go too wide, though. And wreck his lap time there. Meanwhile, Estas has very much wrecked his lap time, going off the road and drifting through the exit the corner for good measure. Here we go then. This should be maybe a little bit quicker. Skold that in 2nd. Luke up to 3rd. Is Estas any quicker? No, he is not. So did not get a better lap time. Neither did Skold, mind. He stays in 2nd position. But we've got our final laps on the board then. One more lap for most of these drivers. Ross into a 145 so far. I think that's put him down below 8th position though. So, alas, not the best lap time. He's 9th actually there, so not too bad for him so far. Luke a little bit wiggly on the exit of turn number 3, whilst we're looking at Placenta now for turn number 2. Doing an okay job so far, the Monster Energy car, and of course, everyone making sure they do not make uncharacteristic mistakes. Qualifying, very easy to make a mistake, of course. When you make a mistake in qualifying, it can really hamper your race pace. Only 2 attempts down, so it does not look like he'll be trying to improve too much. Brooke, meanwhile, through turn number 9. The infamous turn number 9, we've seen some spectacular crashes there in the likes of Formula 1 and the likes, of course, of Endurance. The ELMS race here, of course, in real life. Beautiful racing series indeed, of course. Seen some big accidents there as well, but of course we all remember the likes of Heikki Kovalainen going off there in 2008. Spectacular crash there, and luckily these cars are a little bit slower than a Formula 1 car, so they shouldn't be going into the walls too hard today if I do make a mistake. We're having a look then through who's the first driver of these top 3 to cross the line. It will be Skuld, and he's so far in a bit of traffic ahead of him. We've got Micro and I believe might be one of the other cars. I think it's Riley. Yeah, it is. Skuld across the line. Can he go quickest? He does go quickest then. 2 tenths of a second. Now, what can Spess do for the last corner? Can he get himself up into pole position then? Yet again, he's on the front row of the grid. Never mind where he does it then. Can he get himself back up to pole? The answer to that is no, he can't. So Skuld so far provisional pole. What about anyone else who's on a lap time? Placenta 5th so far. Having a look down the rest of the field, Flynn up to 8th. And I think we're just waiting for Hop to come through the last corner so far. Then he's so far 14th. Can he get himself under 5 seconds? Be good if he can. See if he can get himself down to the 4. He needs a lot of time to gain. He does not seem to do so then. So that is qualifying all and absolutely over. But Skuld, yet again, here today. Oh, a man on a mission. And hopefully this time I don't disconnect. I don't seem to have. So we're going to get some replay modes then. So let's get ready to go then. A nice, short first race, if I'm not too mistaken, ahead of the drivers. 14 drivers ahead of us, ready to go today. 15 laps then, ahead of the drivers. And crucially, 3 very big, well, 2. There's the 1. There's 0, and we're going to be underway then here today in Spain. Good start from Skuld, bad start from Spess. In third position, he's getting swamped down there. I think 2-3 cars coming up on the right. But good start so far from Lewis, up into the lead then of this race. Keeping there behind him, Stan Bingo then trying to come from the outside down towards turn 1. Brave still on the outside there. Meanwhile, Luke up to third. Good start for him, but Spess taking it into turn number 1. So everyone crucially away then at the start of this race. No one really making any mistake at the back, with Skuld lead so far then from Stan Bingo in second. Then comes Spess and Luke, and the rest of the field gathering up behind them there. A few cars going and trying to make overtakes in the background there. Right, Brooke on back socks then in 5th and 6th position there. Looks like he's got the position done on the inside then. Make sure he doesn't get a car back up the inside, because, well, that's easy to do so if you get alongside. He seems to go on back up the inside. Can't do it on the exit. And Brooke, good line for him there. Keeps the position so far. Meanwhile, further down the field, we got a few cars dropping right down the back there. I'm wondering, that's Ross and missing Tink and Hopper as well. We'll have a look at what happened to them in due course. But Skuld leading this race so far then. Doing an okay job. Put himself an 8/10 gap already on the opening lap. Not even in the middle sector, so he's flying so far. Stan Bingo, meanwhile, in second position, under attack so far from Spesslen. Austin doing an okay job at the start of this race. 5/10 penalty, meanwhile, for Bricker, looks like in 5th position. Bad start for him there. Skuld running incredibly wide, but everyone getting absolutely okay from the start then. So, coming through the end of the first lap, Skuld still leads. That's the thing. You need to do that because you didn't want to end up making a mistake. Now, let's see what he can do in the long run. Stan Bingo in second position. Spess in third. Then comes Luke. Then comes a gaggle of penalties there. Brooke and Bassox, they're both with a time penalty so far. Estas in 7th position. So a few people with penalties. Meanwhile, Micromaniac, they're having a little battle there, as there is. Placenta coming down the inside down towards turn number 1. They're on the brakes there for the Monster Energy car. Seems to have done that pretty well. They're bad line there from Micro there. Rather got himself fishing there. Caught fishing, might I say. And Riley having a look there as well. Can't do a lot about him there as he's getting all under the attack there from Flynn in 11th position. And look up the inside. In fact, straight through then up the inside. Doesn't want to be sitting behind his fellow Riley for too much longer. And he wants to be getting a move on then, though. Saying that Riley has a look up the inside again, but can't do it nowhere near up the inside. But then again, let's have a little replay then at the start of this race. If I can remember the button. Is it C? It might be C. It is C. So let's have a look at the start of this race. Have a look at second position then. He got a really terrible start there. So I'm bored with second place so far in this race. I'm ready to go for the lights in just a few seconds time, and then we'll have a look, see exactly what happened to him there. A very bad start, and of course, we can have a little replay of what happened down at the back of the field, because there was definitely contact down there earlier on. So let's have a look then at this start, and indeed, if it lets us go in a few seconds time, there's the free lights. Let's have a look then. So does he bog down and run? Yeah, he does. Didn't get an incredible start from Skull. Very poor start from second position, rather overtaken there. Then we're going to see Luke then in fourth position. You have a run up the inside. Can't quite do it though down to turn number 1. He has the inside line, but however, good positioning from Spess on the outside line. Luke got himself rather caught up on the curbs. Now let's have a look if we can down at the back. Let's have a look what happened to this gaggle of cars. Ross, Missing Tink and Hopper, because we all saw they were dropping quite far down the field. So let's see exactly what happened at the start of this race for them. So coming through turn number 3 right now. And let's see, Ross up the inside, Missing Tink, and that's always going to happen there through turn number 3. And there's Hopper spinning off as well. So loads of lot all waiting up for each other. So sportsmanship down there. So that is what happened for that one. Meanwhile, back to the live action so far, and Ross so far down in 14th position. Meanwhile, Skull still leads this race from Stan Bingo, and then Spess in 3rd. Luke so far in 4th position, ahead of Brock in 5th. Bassox and Estas so far in 7th position so far. So everyone looking pretty well. No mistakes so far for your race leader. Skull rather controlling it so far. 2.3 seconds up the road from 2nd and 3rd. Good exit though, meanwhile, from Spess there. He might have a look up the inside if he's not too careful. Is he going to have a little lunge? No, he thinks better of it. But a 5-10 penalty there from Stan Bingo. I thought it was a little bit too wide through turn number 9. Indeed, he was a bit too wide through turn number 9. So penalty for him so far. That won't cost him too much. He should just be able to limp that off if he's clever. However, he has got a ravaging bull behind him, and that is of Austin. Let's see what Austin can do then. Now the question is, where is the opportunity to pass? Well, turn number 1 will be the likely option if he gets a good toe on the exit of the chicane. Down towards the last corner, he should be able to do it. Let's see, slingshotting past potentially through the last corner. We go then, on board with Spess then Austin. Now which way is he going to go? Stan Bingo is going to cover the inside line. Now, how much speed has he got then? Down towards turn number 1, he'll be laying on the brakes. I don't think he'll be able to do that easily. Let's see, and we're on the outside line, can't do it quite enough. Stan Bingo getting rid of his penalty as well, so good strategic play there for him, making sure that Austin can't get past. No way for on the inside, no way for on the outside. Good strategic play so far, however, I must be careful, because if he gives an opportunity down the inside, can't do it. The rest have got back around the outside. Now, they're still going to allow him if he can hook this up and get the inside for the next corner, and indeed he does. However, now he has to squeeze him wide, has to push himself to the outside. He does do that then, so good defending move, good attacking move from Spess. And Stan Bingo down there into 3rd position, rather outclassed there. Austin doing an okay job so far, now to 2nd position. Now can he go and chase after the race leader then? Scott 3.5 seconds up the road, however, it's not over yet because, still having a look, he's not too far back, he's always a man on the mission. And Stan Bingo, as long as he don't do that again, because he runs wide again. Meanwhile, up the road, I'm seeing Scott's got himself a time penalty there as thinking of the inside line. They won't do that for any opportunity. They'll rather end up punting the poor old fellow off the road. So, that's it back for the time being. Skull. Now let's have a look at his time penalty. 0.5 seconds. Should be okay so far. Now, he did say he might get distracted by his kittens because he's got some cats in his house right now. He, of course, different locations. So, let's see what he can do. If he does bottle it, that might be his excuse. Now his controller died, and that's also his other excuse, so if we know what happens. Meanwhile, Stan Bingo getting rid of his penalty. Brooke down there in 5th, Bassock in 6th, Placenta there. A little bit wide. Now I'm wondering what's happened to him, because he's now dropped behind Estas there. I believe, was that maybe a penalty? We'll have a look at that in due course. We're down the back of the field, meanwhile, we've got a few penalties going on down there. Ross down at the back of the field so far, and about 12th, 13th and 14th position. These Gagala cars all still together. Spess, meanwhile, starting to close up now ever so slightly. Gap now down to 3.5 seconds as it reopens itself up just on cue then, so it's rather fluctuating. However, Spess starting to pull away now from Stan Bingo, and now Luke can't have a look as well. So Luke now starting to get himself into the strategy, into the mode as well, but with a 9/10 penalty in mind. Might cause a few issues later on, especially if he doesn't clear that one too soon. Meanwhile, let's have a look down if we can at Placenta and see what happens to him. Now that got too wide on the exit of the start chicane. All on the grass, so easy thing to do there, lighting the rears up. That's why he's dropped himself down to 8th position there, so wondering why that is. So far, he's still in 8th position. Scott really not cleared that penalty so far, though, so not doing the best job. Just be careful to get himself too much. Meanwhile, Stan Bingo with a 0-second time penalty, so he's rather pissing his luck so far with Luke with 9/10 penalty as well, pretty much a second. Should be getting rid of that sooner rather than later, I imagine. I think a bit wide for the last corner. Kevins lose the rear end like we've seen so far with a lot of drivers. Brook, Bassox, a little bit of battle going on here. Placenta, I think, starting to close back up on Estas so far then, so Placenta, last lap time at 1:47, of course. It should be trying to go on for the moves as this race goes on. 168 miles an hour across the line down towards turn number 1. Laying on the brakes, of course, as well. However, when you're especially in these types of races, you're not really going to be going up the inside from that far back. Really, it's all going to be about strategy. It's all going to be about where is the opportunity to come through. And when you do get an opportunity, when and how do you plant the throttle? Where do you try it? Well, you're not going to be doing it down into turn number 3. Opportunity down into turn number 4 if they get the line here. However, it's incredibly difficult to dive one up the inside, especially from this far back. His best opportunity, I reckon, so far is going to be unsettling the car down out of turn number 9, down towards the hairpin and exit turn number 9, and then just try and plant it up the inside into that tricky little hairpin. Of course, hairpin's going to be the opportunity here. And a little bit wide there from Estas. Let's see, can he unsettle him into turn number 9? Because the thing, he should carry a little bit more spin. Indeed, he does so then. So now, which way is he going to go? Left or right? Well, Placenta is going to have the opportunity. He has the inside line if he wants it. Now he's going to go for it then, down the inside. Estas still on the brakes, but Placenta, perfectly timed. Squeezes him out wide and does that absolute perfection then to bang on the money there yet again. Placenta, heed my warning, and he did do it. So unsettled him into turn number 9, straight through, straight away then. Good opportunistic move then. Caught him out wide through the exit of turn number 8 and forced him a little bit more. That cost him to turn number 9. Land catch up. And then easy to come through down there. However, not all over yet. Because remember, down towards turn number 1. If he's close enough, it could come through. But because he's got that one well and truly covered so far. Meanwhile, yet again up front, 4.7 seconds. That is the gap now. Skull, a man on the mission, 42.9. The man up near Birmingham, doing an absolutely good job. Lap time last time, 1:43.1. He's a man on a mission. Meanwhile, looking down at second position then, his last lap time at 1:43.6. A little bit slower, might we say. Stan Bingo in 3rd, Luke in 4th, Adabrook in 5th. Bassox in 6th, Adder Placenta 7th and 8th position for Estas as well. Meanwhile, down 9th, 10th and 11th, there's a nice little scrap going on here between Riley, that is, Lynn, Micro and Riley then. So Riley is in that battle, but he's down in 11th position. Those guys ahead of 12th, 13th and 14th, who are rather struggling in this race so far. Just over half of the race still to come ahead of the drivers today. So Micro dropping back a little bit right now from Flint, and you'll be wondering then, is Riley going to be trying to come through sooner rather than later? Getting the best position to overtake down into the hairpin down here, turn number 10. Always seemed to be a favourite opportunity here. However, Micro having a little look there for a second and thought maybe, but a little bit too far back, a little bit of heat of the eyes there as well. So not a lot of action going on down the back here, but he's up front so far. Skull still leading from Spess and Stan Bingo in 3rd, Luke in 4th, Edlis Gagala Cars 5th, 6th and 7th position. Placenta starting to come through in this race now again. It's not all over yet for the Monster Energy car. He's still got a chance of coming through later on. Bassox, meanwhile, he'll be trying to get past 5th position then of Brooke. And Brooke so far, last lap time was a 1:45.1. Compare lap to Bassox with 1:45.0. So taking around about a 10th out of him per lap. 7th position, meanwhile, have a look at his lap times. He's down in the 1:44, so he's taking a second lap out of him. So it won't be too long. I reckon maybe give it, let's see, about 3 laps. Maybe if these guys start battling, maybe a little bit 4. And then they'll be going right out. And then so Placenta, always opportunistic, always on a chance of coming back through later on in this race. Bassox trying to take the wide line, then down towards the hairpin. Won't be doing anything there, however. Small mistake though for Brock, getting the rear end tail happy, of course. He's doing these cars, these V8 supercar, well, mock-ups might be said, not the real V8 supercars, of course, like you do get on the other games, for example, Project Cars. You used to have V8 supercars, you'll hold it now, if I'm not mistaken, then, from 2004. Beautiful car, I do love driving it in games. Now, Brooks should be getting a time penalty, I believe, there, a little bit too wide through that corner. He might get away with it, though. Indeed he does. Where would you go? And you can just see behind him, there, percentage starting to close up now. They got 1.9 seconds between 6th, 7th and 5th position, respectively, there in that gaggle of cars so far. Meanwhile, Scott still leads this race up front, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and all Lemlot staying in position. Skull looks like he's rather running away with things up the road so far. That's because the thing, Skull needs not to make any mistakes. Remember what happened in the special event a couple of days ago. Small mistake for him, cost him a big time there. Meanwhile, is this going to be an opportunity down towards turn number 1 for Brooke to cover? Is Bastos going down the inside? Bastos is going to go down the inside. Then they breaking down towards turn number 1. Should easily get that job done. Indeed, he does. I see, like, Brooke trying to come back from the outside line, then try and cover it up the inside if he's careful. On board we go then with 5th position behind them, Brooke looking, and behind them there, Placenta closing all the time. Still thing here, of course, that these two don't end up battling themselves too hard, because Placenta is going to go and come through, not too careful. Though I say that, Brooke does do the exact opposite of what I was about to say then. Does try, and now let's look back then. Should just be able to see Placenta and the Monster Energy then trying to come through and destroy the Red Bull, battle the energy drink companies then so far. With a bit of an assist from Bassox in the assist liveried car. Let's see then, that should be an easy opportunity if he then gets a good exit, then down towards the hairpin. Is he going to have a lunge from this far back? I think he'll be a bit too brave to up the inside there. Indeed, he thinks better of it. Stays there in 7th position so far. It's over 5 and a bit laps to go then today. Still all the action to come yet, though, because he still have another race after this one. I believe a reverse grid order, if I'm not too mistaken. So we should be seeing a lot of action there. Really lighting those rear tyres up, might we say, for Placenta. The Mustang looking a little bit more fiery than the Mazda, might we say. A little bit wide there. Dirty air really affecting him, really, to be fair. Bleed understeer off the circuit. Mine, though. Let's see, is Brooke trying to have a look back at the inside of 5th position, a bit too far back still, though. That's the guy in cars, though, and that is the man behind, really capitalising on all the run he can get down towards turn number 1. Rather forcing the track limits to the absolute maximum he can get himself, and, well, he's doing absolutely okay. Nothing to complain of so far. Meanwhile, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, all still in order. Battle, I believe, going on down here for 9th, 10th, and 11th position. Still Riley a little bit further back than Micro and Flynn, so it looks like it's going to be a Castrol and a Red Bull battle for that 10th and 9th position. They're over Riley, not too far back. Meanwhile, down in 12th, 13th and 14th, rather respectively. Hop up, struggling unfortunately in this race, so can't seem to get the car hooked up like he wants to. Missing Tink there, having struggles as well in the Mobile 1 car, and especially there as Ross as well in the Irwin car, struggling as well. Meanwhile up front, now down to 4 and a bit seconds, 4.7 seconds give or take. So Scald still looking feisty, still looking for that victory today. It'll be the first victory today in this series. The V8 Supercars, he's on course for it, as long as he doesn't go off the road, mind. And Scald's a man, he doesn't often make too many characteristic mistakes. Well, whenever I commentate on him, he does. And we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, Austin in second, ahead of Stan Bingo in third position as well. Fourth for Luke as well. Bassox then in fifth position. That Larry's of Smith. And just out of Brook then, behind him there, the very wide up Slenter. Still having a hunt, still trying to close up. However, doesn't seem to do it too much. Slow behind them there. That's Estas. A little bit further back as well. We see the lines are taking through turn number one. Placenta really capitalising through turn number one compared to these drivers behind as they all continue to get themselves all caught up now. Placenta seems to be struggling, I reckon. Down into his middle sector, he just seems to lose all his time and he just can't manage to get himself comfortable enough, especially through the last corner. It's costing him about 3-4 attempts and he has to do it all over again, so he's really got his only opportunity right now coming down towards these hairpins here. He needs to be trying to line him up. Maybe turn 9 like he did earlier on. Always an opportunity on S-Stats if he can do it again. Turn number 9 often in overtaking an opportunity. Turn 9 and 10 might we say. It's always all going to be about if you can get the line up the hill. As long as you make sure the car ahead bottles it and goes a little bit wide and gets a bad exit for turn number 8. It should be an opportunity. Well, meanwhile, talking about opportunities here, it looks like there is the squeal of the tyres come through a Placenta. Brook now, is he going to have a look up the inside of Bassox then? He'll be brave on the brakes there. He thinks about it there. Thought for a second, maybe a lunge. But too far back for him, however. Good racing today, though, down in Spain. No mistakes. No dramas to be said. A few spins here and there. However, that's always going to happen on the first race of the season. Always expect a few mistakes to pop up. Where unexpected, of course. We saw a Placenta earlier on. We'll have a look at that mistake in a few moments' time. He almost makes another one just uncharacteristically Q then. As he goes very wide for the last corner yet again then. We'll have a look at that mistake earlier on. And you can see in the background, Placenta there. As I lose the camera angle, there he goes off the road. And that's what happened to him earlier on. That's why he's so far down in set positions. Can't really capitalise on it. To be fair, he's stuck behind these two drivers, stuck behind the Red Bull, and stuck behind Brook and Bassock. And that's not where he wants to be so far. He wants to be ahead, he wants to be up there because he's the tyre squeal. He's just rubbing and scrubbing that speed off. I think Skuld, meanwhile, did Skuld make a mistake there, or is that someone getting lapped? I think that's someone getting lapped up front. Actually, that's 14 position there of Hopper, getting himself well out of the way then. On the exit of turn number 8, doesn't want to hold these drivers up so far, but Skuld still leads this race. 5.7 seconds. He's going to go for a fast lap. He's got the fast lap by short, 1:42.7. Second, third as well. These guys are all rather keeping themselves pretty far apart, especially down at the top 4. Then we've got this gaggle 5th, 6th, 7th position, down to 8th as well. If you want to play devil advocate as well, Sestas has still got a chance in this race. As there we go down the inside, and a little bit clumsy there. We'll have a look at that one in a few moments' time as well there. But Brook rather sending it down the inside, and not sure where he was expecting poor old Bassock to go there. We'll have a look at that in due course, but a little bit optimistic down the inside. Was he far enough alongside? Did he have the line? Well, we'll never know about that one. We'll have a look at that in a little bit, but optimism, and here we go, Bassock back down the inside of Brook meanwhile, and through the middle almost coming there. Where's he come from? Where's Placenta come from, might we say? He's having a little look then, he's got one position. Good stuff then from Placenta. Not over yet, though. Has a little look up the inside there of Brook, can't do it, but Placenta now on the move. I think he loves these types of races. He's a man, he wants it. Let's see if we can get it. Meanwhile, we'll have a little look then at that moment down towards the thing. So, Brooklyn. Now, was this a little bit of a dive bomb? I reckon it was. Oh, never going to slow it down. Rather punted into the side of Bassock. He wouldn't have had absolutely any clue he was there. Indeed, we'll have a look, go on board with him then as well. Down towards the hairpin, looking back. Down the inside, straight into the side of him. Absolutely nothing he could do. And Bassock, I don't reckon, will be too pleased with that overtake there, but he'd get the position back through as well. Luke meanwhile the penalty, so having a look through the field. Placenta down to 6th position. They're coming up to lap hoppers so far, and I reckon maybe a few stern words maybe had later on after this race. However, not to be too outdone because they all switch back positions, but Brooke feisty on the brakes. Meanwhile, feisty on the rear, that Mustang. Lighting the rears up, wants to be pushing himself as hard as he can. However, still scuttling this race, rather dominating at the top 2, top 3, really top 4. Pulling away from this group of cars. Here's Placentalo trying to get past Bassox, then Bassox really covering the inside line down towards turn number 1. Let's see, though, a little bit too far back to come through there. You want to be about 2-3 attempts really to get an opportunity down turn number 1. You could try it on the brakes, but it won't end well. Looking back, you can see there, Brooke starting to drop away as well. So, Brooke dropping back. Whilst up front, Placenta attacking Bassox as well. Bassox very comfortable turn number 3 so far in this race. He seems to be getting those lines perfectly correct for him. They're not really capitalising on any other small mistakes. Leaning the brakes there though from Placenta. Locks the rear end up. Must be careful not to skid off the road. Opportunity though. Where are you going to pass? Where do you brake when you got a car that's often the hunting? Well, let's see, can he do the same tricky move that we did earlier on in this race down towards turn number 8, 9 and 10. Let's see, this back losing the rear end slightly left for Placenta rather, but still good exit down towards turn number 9. Let's see, can he get a good line through here? Bit siders on the exit, but squiggly there as well. That won't help his run down towards the bottom of the circuit. Let's see then. Is he going to try a little dive like earlier on that saw a Brett thinks better of it? Not going to try that one, however. A little bit wide there for Bassox there. And now here we go. Placenta down the inside. On the outside now. Cuts him off. Brilliant overtake there from Placenta. Absolutely no quarters given there between these two. Good overtaking opportunity. Good positioning there from Placenta. Brooke keeps himself down in 6th. We'll have a look at that overtake in just a few moments' time there. Coming on to lap 14. I think that's lap 15 for your race leaders then. So good overtaking, good place then for all these drivers. Here we go then. Placenta covering the inside line. Bassox is going to try and come back through then on the outside. Can he do it then down towards turn number 1? 1, 2, 3 cars to the inside line. Let's see. I think Placenta should just have the line, should just have the power. He does do so then through turn number 1. Let's have a look at that overtake then. Just a few moments ago then. Through the inside line then. Got the opportunity a bit too wide there for Bassox. Got through. Covered him off. Absolutely nothing he could do. Great overtaking. Great positioning there from Placenta. Not giving anything at all. And still they go battling there down towards turn number 4 and 5. Bassox, he knows he needs to try and get back past him on the last lap of this race. As long as you don't do anything reckless. As long as you don't do anything silly. That's the crucial thing. This is, of course, the last lap of this race, so we've got to get looking for your race leader. I believe they're just coming through the back of the circuit right about now. It's a bit wide then, actually, for 6th position. This might allow 7th to come through up the inside line. Then indeed he should do. As there goes Brooke down the inside into 6th, 7th, almost colliding there. Just about keeping themselves on the island. Meanwhile, up to the front, Scald. Comfortable, collective, calm. No mistakes. No fears. Absolutely nothing. He wins race number 1, then hit day in Spain. 2nd position then from Spesh. He's a man who's going to be hunting down for that victory in race number 2. Sambingo in 3rd. Luke 4th. But what about this battle down 5th and 6th position? 6th and 7th might be saying. Still I'll do a little bit too much. Looks like Bassox is going to get that position then. Luke 4th. Placenta 5th. Looks like Bassox in 5th. Placenta in 5th, Bassox 6th, Brooks in 7th, we're aiming for Estats across the line in 8th, 9th and 10th position there as you fit a run down. Meanwhile, Scald ahead of Spesh in 1st and 2nd. Well done to Scald. Victory today. Driving the Daniel Ricciardo, now we might say that. Rather plain overalls, but at last, a small trophy to pay then. Today. Oh my dear God, what has happened there on the screen? Well, that's an interesting thing. Now, I believe we are expecting to get yet another start in this race, if I'm not too mistaken. This should be the 2nd race coming up in just a few moments' time. Do let us know what your driver of the day is from race number 1, however. Got a Can't pass it too much by Skull, of course, dominating this race indeed. So now we just wait just a few times, then I believe that we're setting the grid for the second race. Brooks is seeing very happy in that one. I reckon he would be. Good battling between those few drivers as well. As a Milwaukee livery there. We're looking at Riley. Don't get to see too much liveries in this race, might we say. But Riley, definitely a man who's got a beautiful livery. The Monster Energy car as well as, there we go. Race based off-proof. So reverse grid start then for the next 15 laps as well. So 15 more laps ahead of the drivers. Now the question is, what can the likes of Skull do in this race? Will he be starting down the back of the field? So, anything's possible from the back, and he's going to have to come all the way through the field. At least Eclipse Gaming, my apologies there, saying placenta driver of the day. I can't put him too far off. He did an incredible job. So we're getting ready to go then for the second race. 15 laps are going to be ahead of the drivers in reverse grid order from the start. So Skull will be starting down in last position, especially alongside him. Well, meanwhile, some of the drivers who struggled in the first race, like the Hopper, you will be starting on pole position in this race. Now, Hopper rather struggled. So, he'll be hoping for a good race. And he'll be hoping try not to make any mistakes like he did earlier on. Crucial thing, remember, for these leaders, especially like Scott, he wants to make sure he comes through the field quickly because he's got to get past his teammate, he's got to get past a lot of drivers. He's going to be sitting down there, I believe, what, yeah, 13th position in this race, 14th if I'm not too mistaken. Some of the liveries, by the way, the Pepsi Max livery, a beautiful Sir livery. Brooks in that Red Bull livery. Flynn as well, some beautiful, incredible liveries today. Here in the V8 Supercar series, I am your host, Evil Dragon XXL. Do follow me on Twitter. It will be somewhere in the world. If do, and do of course follow the SBR Twitter and Facebook as well. Links, they should be in the description if I'm not too mistaken. If they're not, they should be in the description. Maybe someone can go and do that one at some point. But alas, fun, beautiful racing ahead of us today. The sun setting around 7:50 PM in game time. It is currently, what, 20:46 in UK time so far. So a lot of action still to come then here today. 50 more laps out of the drivers. That should be around about half an hour, give or take, about 40 minutes. Maybe if we get everything absolutely on point. The question is, who's going to be the man coming through turn number 1 in the lead of this race? Who's going to be coming through the last corner in the lead of the race? And who, of course, is going to win the race? Of course, from the last corner of the final lap. That's the crucial thing as well. Now, if you know me, and I know myself quite well, often in these types of races, we often see a lot of drama in the opening couple of laps, especially when the new guys, well, the more inexperienced, slower, some might say as well, who's been struggling in race number 1. They could be struggling in race number 2 as well, as Ashley Sharp in the chat saying as well. Great first race, everyone, indeed. So, that seems happy. I seem happy. What about race number 2? Let's see what can happen. Getting ready to go then. The final begins in 7 seconds. So, strap yourselves in. This could be either a rocket show or it could end in tears. Preferably the first option, mind, but anything can happen in these races, and it usually does. So, race number 2 then. Pole position for MW Watts, actually. He's on pole position in this race, however, I didn't know he was down there, so pole position for him then. Let's get ready to go then. 5 lights ready to come on then. Well, we're getting the 3, 2, 1, and when they're off, they're underway. Then race number 2, good start then from everyone. Watts storming off the grid. Good start there from Riley in 4th position, it looked like there. Good start from everyone though. seems to come down towards number 1. What leads this race then? As they come down towards turn number 1, who's it going to be then into turn number 1? In the background there, Luke going down the inside, 1, 2, 3 cars. Contact in the midfield there is Placenta all the way up to 4th position with Vestas as well. But crucially there is Hoppers off the road then into turn number 1. He was in 2nd. Bad start for him, but what leads this race? Riley in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. All together as well. Let's have a look. Skull up to 8th position as well. As we come through the middle of the circuit, Luke already up to 5th. I'll make that 4th, might we say, now as he comes to the inside of Estats, meanwhile further down the field. Great battling going on there. 3-4 cars, 1 car. Big accident. Now who's that off the road? I'm wondering, is that who's that off the road? It's Micromaniac off the road. Someone else as well. And it's Missing Tink off the road. Now, what happened there? Didn't exactly see it, but contact definitely occurred. We'll have a view of that in just a few moments' time. Placenta flying on this circuit up to 2nd position. Absolutely incredible drive there for him as Watts now covering there from Luke. Luke trying to go around the outside, does him straight around the outside there. Russ into the rear end of Watts as well. So he's going into a bit of a rodeo. You know, I said this could be a bit carnage. Well, it very much was. Skull there up to 7th. Skull, an incredible start there up to 7th. Spess in 6th as well. So, Lee's 2 on the move. Spess up the inside of Ross into 5th position. Make that 4th position. Or is it down to the 5th? Oh, no! Off the road as he got himself back on. Spess there. He's struggling. Caught out there. I don't know who that was. But someone contact there. We'll have a review of this first up, I reckon, in a few moments' time. All sorts of carnage going on. But Skull in 5th, back ahead of his long-time rival and challenging 4th. Skull through, and now is Spess coming through. Yes, through he comes. Up the inside, good moving there as Ross there dropping down like a rock in water now. Another overtaking there as there goes Ross dropping down to 5th, might be 6th. In the space of what, 500 meters down to 5th. 8th position now from what, 4th? Incredible stuff there from Ross, dropping like flies, is now through attempting. There's Brock there on Estas on the outside through turn number 1, down towards turn number, down to 5 and 6. Everyone pushing hard, everyone pushing incredible that at the start of this race. Up front though, Riley, Placenta, Luke. Then comes Skull, then comes Spess, Ross battling away, now up to 6th position yet again. I think one car made a mistake and I'm wondering. 3 press into turn number 9. That's not going to end well. 1 car's going to the ground, but there might be more. Bit of contact there, bit of lag there for 1 car in the background. This is turning into quite a scrap as you come down towards the hairpin. As, oh, there goes another one. And this is rather turning into a rodeo now down the back of the field. All sorts of carnage going on. And I'm wondering, who was that going off that time around? Who knows? It's getting rather clumsy, might I say, unfortunately. Meanwhile, let's have a little review then at the start of this race. As we go then, looking at Riley then, he's the man on the inside position. We'll have a look down the back of the field as well. Skull down there in what, 6th, 7th position. Everyone gangling up there. There's contact out towards number 1 there. Hopper banged off the road. There's a Hopper contact there. I believe that was with, might have been Ross there down towards the back of the circuit. Now let's have a look then down towards turn number 5. Let's see if we can see what happened down here for the likes of Missing Tink. Because he rather got squeezed off the circuit down there. We saw him going off the road. Saw a few others as well. Let's see then, he's on the outside line. Now, he's going to get himself rather squeezed now. Was that Scold? Is that Scold who's involved with that one? I wonder who it was. We'll have a view of that yet again if we can. Have a look at that then. So, let's have a look then back at the start of this race. And we'll have a look down at Scold. And he's sitting down there in 30th position. Now, I'm wondering, was it him who collided there with the car? So down towards turn number 1 we see all the carnage going off. There is Ross getting himself and all sorts of carnage through turn number 1. But on the inside, that there, that'll be Flynn on the outside, I'm not too mistaken. So let's have a look then. Contact there is Sam Bingo. Let's see. There's Missing Tink. Now, is it Skull into Missing Tink or is it Missing Tink into Skull? That's the question. So Scold is ahead of Missing Tink there. They're alongside each other. Bit clumsy there from Scold. And they grew off the road as well. So, Scold, rather clumsy move there from the Englishman. Rather punting the poor old driver off the road. Meanwhile, back to Scold. He's up to third position in this race. Up front for centre now leads this race. So, he's on the move as... apologies there. Wrong button temporary. Still getting used to the keyboard control. Scold in third. Placenta in first position, but contact earlier on. And Scold might be under review for that one. Rather a bit of a nods there, rather unfair nods. But Placenta now leads this race from Luke. Luke having a look up the inside there. Scold in third. Riley in fourth. Ahead of Spess in fifth position. Trying on the outside turn number 4. Won't do him there because he'll get himself squeezed right off the road. He thinks about it. Luke can't do it. Has to sit back. Scold. He's a man looking for that position. Now, won't be doing up the inside there, my friend, because you'll end up bumping someone off the road. Keeps back. Here we go then. Down towards turn number 9. Luke having a look up the inside. Now, this is going to capitalise. Now, this is where Scold should be able to come through then. Let's see. Now, slipstream time. Placenta covering the inside. Now, you want to be careful. We don't look out behind there. There's Riley having the battle with Spess in the meanwhile. Spess up the inside of Riley. That is for 5th and 4th position. Those positions switch then behind. And but we go Scold then on the bonnet cam. Back to the live feed on the outside as well. Incredible racing then for lead drivers. Scold now covers the inside line. There is Luke. Now Scold has to go on the outside line. That must be careful behind. His Spess is closing up all the time. Now, where does he brake? Does he try the late braking manoeuvre? Can he do it on the brakes? They were too far back for the time being. Has to sit back. Has to relax. But now they're first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and even down to 6th position there. All pretty much together. At least down to 5th there. Riley just capitalising on this battle. Just keeping with them. Scold still looking, still trying. Up the inside there, Riley having a look on 2nd and 1st. And now trying on the outside there, under a threat. Bit wide there, and now this is opportunity. Here comes Scold down the inside. Scold, opportunity move there. Does he get the position done? It seems he does do. So, there's Placenta wide. Scold now has the inside line down towards turn number 8. Can he do it on the brakes? Can he get the braking manoeuvre done? One time on the outside there, Spess is trying to come through. Austin can't do it, however. Great racing today. Scold, now, is he going to have a look up the inside yet again? Thinks about it. Wasn't too sure he was going to do the move there. Just stay with him, my friend. Just wait your turn. Be cool, be collective. Leading the championship so far. You're in 3rd position. Don't want to lose anything. Don't really want to let Austin through either. Austin looking, hunting. So far, Mustangs 1, 2, 3. Then comes the Mazda in 4th. Then comes the other Mustang down in 5th position. Scold now on the charts again. Now, which way is he going to go? Is he going to go switching to the inside? Is he going to switch to the outside? He'll be forced to go left. And now he goes right. He has the inside line. Now, can he do it down towards turn number 1? Again, though. Contact. And Scold, optimistic. Won't do it this time around. Tries it through turn number 3 now on the outside. Wants to be careful, though, because now on the inside, here comes Spess. Here comes Austin. Scold out wide. And that's what he didn't want to do. He didn't need to do that. He didn't want to do that. He ran himself out wide. He did that himself. They're trying to capitalise other people's mistakes. He wanted the position, and he fought the short game, not the long game. Now Spess is through. Austin now. Always on a mission. Now, can Austin take this victory? Can Austin challenge 2nd? Is he going to be a bit more calm and collective? I believe, yes, he might be a real racing driver. However, in the sim racing world, that can mean nothing. Sometimes you see the likes, especially when esports drivers come up against real drivers, they all sometimes struggle. Here we go then, Scold on the brakes yet again. Down the inside, can he get the move done? I think he has got the move done. Spess not battling that one too hard so far. He doesn't really want to be bumped off the road. Good defending then from him. Good tactics as well. And just no Skull might be a little bit quicker in this race. However, he's still got just over 8 laps to go. 9 laps to go if I'm not too mistaken. Ahead of the drivers. Skull, the man right now, he's got an opportunity to come through. But Austin, all out of shape for the exit of the last corner. Talk about all out of shape. There is Placenta all right out of shape then. Covering the inside line. Now let's see. This is where he's optimally good on the brakes. Skull really not capitalising on it though. Let's see. Kenny Jones on up the inside. Won't do it this time. Spess as well. Really trying. They're all taking the line for a turn of 1. Getting as much time as they physically can. It's all out of shape yet again. Here we go then. Skull has the inside line. Thought the outside was bad last time. Well, they'll have the inside this time, my friend. Through he comes up the second position. Good defending. Meanwhile, Placenta now at the presser lane. 4th position. Apologies there for that. There is 4th now trying to come through. Placenta in 3rd. Meanwhile, I didn't notice it down the back. I'm going to have a look at it there. Good battle going on for Hopper. Missing Tink. And Watts as well. Missing Tink down the inside. And follow out there. A little bit too far back for him. Battle meanwhile. 7th. 6th, 8th as well, all battling together there. That is Stambingo. Then up the road, we've got this great battle going on. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and Skull is leading. Wowee! Now, where's that come from? Into the lead of this race, we'll have a look at it in just a few moments' time. But Skull now in the lead. And let's see. Well, he's done it there, so he's done it down to the hairpin then. So, Skull down towards the hairpin then. Late braking must have been then from Skull down towards the inside line. We're still looking at the battle down the field. 3rd position. Under pressure now. Spess now trying to come through. On board we go then with the 5th place man. We should see the 4th place man trying to take the 3rd place man. Can't do it so far. Has to sit back. Has to wait his turn. All the time now. Skull just going to be running away. Here we go then. Bad exit there. Big tank slapper. Big mistake then from Placenta. Got it all covered up though. And here we go, the inside line. Here we go, and then Austin down the inside. Stambingo has left the room then, so something's going on down there. 4th the inside line there. Austin tried. Austin couldn't do it. Take a great battle. Has a big mistake. Oh, Riley off the road as well. Well, all rodeo show down here down towards the back of the circuit. Riley losing the rear end. Austin losing the rear end as well. So, rear end's not like a plot in there. Riley, I'm not sure what he was doing there out so far. Let's have a look again at Skull in a few moments' time if we get an opportunity to. With that overtake he did. So we go then, on board with Skull. Now, was this a late braking dive up the inside? It was late braking up the inside. Great move then by Skull. Not much contact, rather clean to be fair from the driver from Birmingham. Making sure he's keeping himself all clean. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, just sitting behind him. Still all line astern. On board with 3rd place man. Behind him there is Spess in 4th. Spess hunting. Spess knows, I reckon, that he can get this podium. He knows he's quicker. But the question is, can he get through? Where do you come through? The Mazda. A little bit slower in a straight line, it looks like, than the Mustangs. Unfortunately, it must be said. So it looks like the Mustangs have at least a small chance down towards turn number 1, especially that one. Meanwhile, Luke really having a look at Skull there down towards turn number 1. Really have thought of it there. Small mistake yet again from Placenta. And again, 4th place of Austin all over the back from there. Skull meanwhile up front, a little bit wide. Here we go then. Luke back into the lead of this race. But he has that free 10th penalty there for good measure. Skull keeping his cards close to his chest. Keeping it calm. Keeping it collective. Now he's going to have a little lunge up the inside. Thinks about it there. Spess as well. All looking. All trying as well. This is turning into quite a race. Down here in Spain. Here today. 2 races. Totaling 30 laps. altogether. Small mistake there from Luke on the exit of turn number 8 as we continue on board here with second and third and fourth. Aboard then with Scott now at the inside line. Surely now he's got an opportunity to come down the inside line. Likewise is Riley having a look at the inside. And Scott punted off. And contact there, Placenta. Too late on the brakes. Rear-ended him now. That's allowed Spess through. Luke down into third. And now trying to come through there. Let's see. Can he get the position back from Austin? Austin on the outside. Austin through. Back up into second. But what on earth happened to Placenta? Let's have a look at it then. Was it too low on the brakes? Was it too optimistic? Well, that's a little bit too early to say. Let's have a look at that from a little bit further back then. And let's see. No idea where he was thinking to go with that. Straight into the back of Scald. Really capitalising. Look at this battle though into the lead though. Oh, there's contact again and off the road. And that's not to be too impressed. That's Spess and Placenta. Austin and Placenta letting him back through. A little bit too optimistic there. It looked like on the inside. Bit of contact there for good measure. Not going to be doing. And that's really held Skull. That's giving him a clean plate right up to third now. And let's have a look then. Placenta. Let's have a look at that move then. Down there towards that corner. So it was Luke and Austin battling there. Caught it out the straight. Inside from Luke. Luke right. And yeah, contact there. Rather clumsy though. Unfortunately from Placenta. Didn't do anything. Racing incident. This bit unsighted there. Austin really not giving any opportunity either. So contact was made. It was inedible that was going to happen. Couldn't avoid that one. I don't think if they tried to. Luke second, Riley up to third. Now here we go. It's Brooke down the inside of Riley. Of Spess, might we say. Austin going back for up the inside then. Not going to have a little bit too much there. Back through then on Brooke. Back down into fifth position there. But it's not over yet. Low on the inside line. Get an opportunity to come through here. Down towards the chicane now. However, knocked me up towards Siglo. A little bit wide there from Austin. Seems to be struggling. As they come through, rather clumsy through the chicane though. They all get themselves clean together. And Brooke holds on to fourth so far. Doing an okay job after that mistake, especially. Austin maybe has a little bit of sliding lows, maybe a little bit of a momentum boost. But if we go then up the inside, should be easy to come through now. Up the inside, he has the position. Should be straightforward up the inside, down on the brakes. Leads to the brakes, of course. Mazda on Mazda. And then he goes to that position absolutely bang on the money. Up front, Scald leads this race, holding the line. Second and third position. Scald is off! Fantastic! You're a race leader! Maybe he's not holding the line. Wowee! And he's off the road and there's more contact there and Scald now in the gravel and he loses it and into the wall. It's gone bad, it's gone worse and he's bottled it. Wow! If it could go wrong, it has gone wrong. What on earth? Well, Scald, optimistic. Let's have a look at that one then. So, as, well, we're not going to have a look at it from that angle. Let's see if we can have a look at it from this angle then. Now, see, now we can't get the, view on for that one. Then we get the replay, but he's down in third. So, unfortunately, not me seeing that one. But a small mistake, and now Luke leads this race. With, what, 3 laps to go. Scald there, all out of shape even more. He's struggling it all of a sudden. What is going on there for Lewis? He's all over the shop. There we go. Riley can cover the inside line. Riley reaving one way, reaving the other. Covers the inside line. No one's be covering it more, my friend, because Scald's going to try it. Give him the outside line, he'll do it. Let's see. Scott on the outside, clean around the outside. Great move there, great battling here. But second and third is your man who was leading this race. All out of shape is Riley. Not giving an inch, not giving a hoot. Back up the inside. Scald wide again. Scald struggling even more. Riley to the inside. Riley through. Now can Riley capitalise it? He's coming alongside. Scott on the outside, Riley on the inside. Scott, he should have the line, he should have the position this time around. He squeezes through. Now does he get the position? Finally, yes he does. Riley has a look on the exit, but nothing he can do. But Scott now has to get rid of that 8/10 penalty. Great battling here as Scott again all out of shape on the exit of turn number 8. Down towards turn number 9, but a small mistake. And that's always going to cost him. Now the question is, can he go and try and win this race? Can he go and catalyse it? Can he go and catch Luke? He's got to make no mistakes. Luke has either. He's leading this race. He has got a 5/10 penalty, but Scold has an 8/10 for mind. The gap now to 2.3 seconds, so he'll close up. But a small, costly, catastrophic mistake. Could it cost him victory today? Well, it's not saying never, because the gap's already closing back down to 1.5 seconds. Scold's going to be livid. Went into the gravel, went back out the gravel. He's now the man on the biscuit. Fast up at this race is Spess at 1:43.4. He's back up into 4th position, a little bit further down from the field from these guys. But Skull now has the bit between his teeth. He's taken already 1.5 seconds out of your race leader. This is incredible pace from Skull. He's going for it again, so he may make a mistake, but it's not going to cost him too much. And this is going to be a battle then. Let's see. Scold versus Luke. The battle of the L's. Lewis and Luke. Riley behind. Austin in 4th. Brooke down in 5th position. Scold getting rid of his penalty there. He just want not a penalty at all. He wants this to be all or nothing. However, it was him getting rid of that penalty a little bit costly. As he gets himself even more out of shape in turn number 9 there. Getting himself on the grass. A Scold ragged edges here, and Riley not too far behind either, behind Lem as well. You might be able to say Austin closing up on these guys as well. It's not all over yet in this race. Lap 13 of 14, and Austin can still get a podium out of this, you know. You never say never. Riley trying to get rid of that penalty as well, so it's always an opportunity down towards the chicane, down towards turn number 1. Well, he's not going to get that. Well, you might do it, you know, if you do that, my friend. Well, this should be an overtaking opportunity. Well, you will get through, then I reckon Riley will have to cover the inside line. However, I think it's a little bit too little too late. Let's see, then outside line always going to be an opportunity then. Let's see, is he going to go one way, is he going to go the other? Riley swerving one way to the other, a little bit too much weaving there, my friend. I'm not happy about that one. I think so, around the outside. Can he do it? No, won't do it there. A little bit optimistic, a little bit too much weaving there. I think you're only really allowed to move once normally. However, for you Supercars, you might be able to weave a little bit more, but won't come through there. Around the outside, optimistic, won't do it there, I reckon. Try to get the car back if he can. Maybe just keep the outside line, actually. Could be an opportunity here down the inside if he gets the position done. Is he going to have a look? Oh, he thinks about it there, but Riley covers the inside line. He runs too deep, however. Covers it off from the exit. Absolutely perfection there. Won't let him an inch then. Now, turn number 8, 9, and 10. This is where Austin is going to try and line him up there. And he did this earlier on in the race, remember? Race number 1 did this. And he's going to try it again. Look, again, Riley covers that inside line. He won't try around the outside. We'll be brave there. Can't do it. Riley covers that one perfection. Absolutely perfect driving then from Riley. Not going to allow him the inside line or the outside line. Won't give him any inch. Luke and Scold. Now 1st and 2nd position. Scold going to try and capitalise, try to win this race. He's got it all to win. He's got it all to lose. Last corner. Coming onto the last lap. Is it going to be a dive down towards turn number 1? Is it going to be an optimistic move somewhere else on the circuit? Let's find out. Luke's going to have to cover the inside line shortly now. Skull's going to have the outside line down towards turn number 1. Meanwhile, Riley and Spess down there of Austin. Skull on the inside line. Can he do it on the brakes? Through lane braking. He does it to lead on the final lap of this race. Brilliant stuff then from Scold. Luke tries, but can't do it. I think he knows he's struggling. As now Skull does not need to throw it away. Doesn't need a mistake now. 2 victories in a row is on course for it maybe today. An incredible afternoon of racing. An incredible evening, might we say. But Scold, who holds his line well, who doesn't make a mistake often, but he does when he doesn't need to. Back into the lead. A little bit unnecessary though, making that mistake. Maybe he could have won this a bit more easily. However, it's not over yet. Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Because we've still got half a lap to go. And we know Riley's looking for it. Riley's coming for it. Is Riley going to have a look at the inside then? Skull's going to have to cover the inside. Luke, can he dive down the inside? He has a think of it. Skull covers it. Remember, Skull once upon a time did lose a race on the last lap for making a mistake. Don't count another one. As he comes through the back of the circuit, I think he might just have it though. I think he might just have it through the last 2 corners. Through he comes. Skull. He might not have won the race like he wanted to. One's out wide, but he'll win the race number 2 then. Brilliant driving with Skull. A small bottle, but he might just get away with it. Austin in 3rd. Good recovery drive for him. Brooke 4th. Riley down in 5th. Then to be got overtaken by Brooke at the end of this race. Bassok 6th. 7th for Ross. Placenta in 8th. Disappointing for him. 9th and 10th for Riley and Estat as well. 11th and 12th position. We're just waiting for the likes of Micro and Missing Tink. And we're also waiting for Hopper as well. Micro 11th, Missing Tink in 12th, and waiting for Hopper in 13th. But what a finale. Milderman saying, save £5. Well done, Lewis. I'm not sure. I might not let you off that one. That was a bit of a mistake, but he covered it up well. But he almost bottled it badly. He ended up winning it just about. Bang on the money. Just when I say he does things well, he does make mistakes. So the commentator's curse lives on well. But at last, he wins this race. Back-to-back victories. That'll be the top of the championship by a little margin, I reckon, because Austin down there in 3rd. Struggling there. But Scott, miraculous perfectionist drive. We're just waiting for your last drive to cross the line, meanwhile, as these guys bring themselves home 1 and 2. Austin, my driver of the day, in my opinion. Absolutely beautiful drive. Back from the mistake earlier on. Didn't let it hurt him. Didn't let it ruin his race. He knew what he had to do. He knew he had the pace. He ended up winning. 4th, 5th as well. There's your rundown. Scold, Luke, Spess and Brooke, your top 4. And yet again, for the second time today, Scold tops up at the podium. And really, well done to all the drivers today. An absolutely incredible evening of racing. Throughout the field, no real mistakes apart from 1 or 2. Thank you for Motorman for the nice compliment as well. But until next time, in just 7 days' time, where we reach the next round, on round 3 and 4. Mainly because my voice is starting to hurt, as well after this beautiful race as well. I've been evil, and only evil. Normally still someone else in the comments box, so I never forget there isn't. But I've been evil. Join us next week for another beautiful race. Take care, and goodbye from Spain.